Let's burn through some paint today. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Glass Garage, where we make detailing simple. My name is Sak, and today we're going to be talking about the Rotary itself. And everybody already knows that you can cut with the Rotary, especially if you're using any type of wool pad. This is a Thundercut wool pad from Oberk. You could use the Lake Country wool pad and even some stiffer, more coarse foam pads to go ahead and cut. But everybody knows they're infamous for leaving holograms. And the main purpose of this video is, can you finish down with a Rotary? And absolutely you can, with the right polish and with the right technique. And that's pretty much it. And you get it's just a deeper gloss. It's hard to explain, but in person you really see it. And quick 20 seconds of your time. This is for people who don't know, or if this is the first time you're ever watching my channel and trying to understand what's the difference between a Rotary and a polisher. This is pretty much it. Is a DA is spins and oscillates. So I'm just going to, and as you can see, it's spinning and oscillating. So that's why they call it a dual action. That's about it. And a Rotary, it just spins on one axis. That's about it. Quick 20 seconds. And the dual action part really helps without leaving holograms, because it's kind of mimicking the hand, like your hands when you're waxing a car or whatever, as opposed to a Rotary, which is literally one axis and you're focusing on that specific spot constantly. But yeah, now all you really need is the right polish, pads, and even the right Rotary. Not every Rotary is meant to do this type of job, so it's not like you can go on Amazon, just buy a $49.99 Rotary and you're able to do it. You really want to look at the specifications of the Rotary, and for me it is based on just my user preference and the way I polish. Everybody has their own techniques, everybody has their own forms of polishing, but for me, I really found out that low RPMs is really the best. And here I have 4 different Rotaries, or 5 different Rotaries that I really enjoy using. And some of them are pretty much, I will say, in order. But the flex corded Rotary, it's 600 RPM on speed setting 1. And then it goes up to like 2100 RPM on speed 6. But here's the thing. Speed 6 is only to dry out the pad. And I will show you with this in a bit. The next thing is the Rupes Rotary, which I have right here, which is the Rupes Rotary, and speed 1 is 450 RPM and speed 2 is 700 RPM. That's why I keep it in that way. And over here it is Chemical Guys Rotary. They have a great Rotary polisher as well, and it's pretty awesome because I haven't tried it, but based on the specification, it's like 2200 RPMs to dry out the pad, and speed 1 is 600 RPM, which is the ideal zone that you want to be. Then you have the Max Shine Rotary. You can do it, but with 800 RPMs, it's going to be too, how do I say it? With the higher the RPM, the quicker arm movements you have and the less type of correction capability you will get. It's hard to explain, but I'll do just the demo part because I have the test hood in 4 different sections. And then the Flex Cordless Rotary. It's a nice cordless Rotary, but the thing that I don't like about it is it has a very low speed setting, RPM, at the end. And when I'm talking about RPM, it's rotations per minute. So this Rupes, it's good, but it's sometimes a little bit difficult to dry out the pad because this ends at 1700 RPM. And sometimes you really gotta keep it spinning for it to dry. So I will show you in a bit on that. So the next thing is the right technique, using the right pad and polish combination. We're gonna be using the DIY Detail Gold Standard Polish and the Owner's Pride Compound, so you guys could go ahead and see the differences. And then if I'm really gonna be cutting on one section, which I will be, I'm gonna be using the last cut with this wool pad. But I'm just gonna fast forward that section because the main thing I really wanna focus on is how to remove holograms and how to finish hologram free with a Rotary. Now, the next thing is the right polishing pads. So can you finish with a flat pad? I've never intentionally tried to do a flat pad because I did learn how to do this with Ivan LaCroix. And when I went over to Eddie's garage and we did a quick training on it, and pretty much I found out that the waffle pads are just great. So these are the old school Optimum waffle pads, finishing pads. They work great. And you have the DIY one, which is a tad bit softer, but it just has like a bit of longer fingers. So, it finishes down real nice. This is the prototype that Ivan gave us. And this is the final product from DIY Detail, which has a ventilation hole for better cooling, which is absolutely great. And yes, you can finish down with the waffle pad with the gold standard, but the gold standard, the yellow foam. But as you can see, the gold standard, this one is a bit more low profile, so you will get a better cut, but you may leave holograms depending on the paint. Now the Tesla that I have is a GM paint, and this came off a truck or whatever it came out of, but all I know is really soft and finicky paints. And my wife is going to be polishing as well, so you guys will see her polish, and that's about it. So let's go ahead and get started with the videos. All the products will be down below in the description. And the last thing I did forget is you want to use a damp pad. So this is why I have the Lake Country System 3000 pad. This will be your best friend. And this is the Carolina card that I have from the Keys 37. This way I'm not bending down over, but you really want a pad washer. You guys could watch a bunch of videos on pad washers, but pretty much it just helps cleans and dampens the pad. That way you're not dry buffing, because that's another reason why you end up getting holograms. And the most important part I forgot to say is the backing plate for your rotary. The best backing plate I've seen, and let me just go grab one more. So the best backing plate, in my opinion, based on testing, and I've been testing these two a lot. This one came with the Rupes, and it's flexible here, but the rest is just a hard, stiff, foam, as opposed to the Lake Country's backing plate for the rotary. It's a lot softer. Look how barely anything, and it's flexing just nice. And you can also finish off with a 5-inch if you want, but a bigger footprint will make you more efficient. But this is also from Lake Country, and as you can see, flexes down nicely, and that's what I prefer. Just use a soft backing plate. Just get the Lake Country urethane, whatever it is called, but it's just a nice, soft, flexible one. And yeah, they have it in yellow and in black, so I ended up getting the black one for the Rupes because it looks funny with the yellow, but that's about it. So let's go ahead and get started with the video. What we're gonna do here is just show how you can cut. Everybody knows you could cut with a rotary, but we're gonna show you all the defects that you really leave behind if you're using a compound with the wool pad. And here I have my beautiful wife that she's gonna go ahead and show. She's gonna go ahead and show you how she does it. It's pretty quick, really simple. That's about it. You want to use a dampened pad, and she's cleaned it up. Now you want a damp pad, put out the rest, and she's gonna apply. You wanna generally really apply a lot on the wool pad, just like what she's doing and that's about it. You just wanna spread it out, and then she's just gonna damp it like she usually does. Go around. And what she's gonna do is just spread it out on number one, and we're gonna see the defects that she really leaves behind, and how she polishes. So now she's gonna cut. She prefers speed setting number 4. As you can see, the rotary isn't as dangerous as it seems. My wife is a phenomenal detailer, but of course, as you can see, she's using this on speed setting 4 with the rotary, and all she's doing is guiding the machine. It's not grabbing, it's not pulling her, and all she's doing is just polishing until she feels that the polish starts getting a little bit grabby or the rotary starts to skip. And that's the part, once you feel that little friction, that's when you really want to stop, because now you're just dry buffing, and then at that point you're going to leave deeper defects behind. But that's pretty much it. It's just simple as that. Let's go ahead and wipe this off and see the defects that she leaves behind, which is natural when you're doing a heavy cut with the rotary at a high speed with a wool pad. You can see holograms and just trail marks all over the place, buffer trails, and that's the scuff parts areas, as you can see here. But she pretty much removed everything quick and easy. So we're just gonna leave that as a control side, just for cutting with the wool. As you can see, it looks as if she sanded, but those are the wool marks or buffer trails, because it's a super aggressive pad. As you already know, this entire panel was scuffed up with 3000 grit sandpaper, and for us, we really enjoy cutting with the DA, then finishing off with the rotary, and we use the DIY detail wool pad with the last cut from the last detail, just to go ahead and remove all those sanding marks, and it's going to leave its own haze and defect behind, but at least it's not sanding marks, it's just more of just the haze of using the DA, and we did this on all 3 sections, so that way you guys can see a better comparison when we're finishing off with the rotary. She's gonna go ahead and do this on speed setting 2. And the reason why speed setting 2 is because we cut it with a compound, so it's a bit hazy. But I wanna leave some light holograms behind, so that way we can finish hologram free using the red wool pad from DIY Detail. And the reason why we're using speed setting 2 is you can finish rotary free with this, but this is 700 RPM. And she's keeping the pad flat, and she's just really just brightening up the paint. That's about it. And yes, you can finish rotary free, but this is not rotary free, hologram free, but this is GM paint, so it's a bit annoying to do. But as you can see, it's not hard. She's not doing any pressure, holding it with 2 fingers, keeping it flat. She's doing 3 passes, and that's it. Simple as that. And we're gonna fast forward real quick and show the holograms left behind, and when I do my section of polishing. So as you can see, she did not leave any holograms on this thing, but we're gonna finish it down with the red pad. And what she's gonna do now is use the gold standard with the red pad. And she's gonna just use speed setting number 1, brighten up the paint. There's some deeper scuff marks, as you can see on the right corners, but that's okay. That's not the purpose of this video, is can you finish hologram free with a rotary. So here is the after the compound stage of removing the sanding marks, but you can see there's still its own hazing left behind. And up here is a lot clearer, darker, and richer. This test hood is just hammered. This is obviously from a collision, as you can see. So, got it from the body shop. But she's dampening up the red pad. She's gonna dry it out. With the red pad, you wanna leave it there for like a good, a little longer. As you saw, she left it a bit longer. 1 sprayed with the gold standard polish. And she's gonna go up on this part, speed setting number 1, like always. And from there, she's gonna finish down. Yes, it looks a little bit more wet because the red foam pad holds a lot more water. And that's it. So, and she's just holding it literally 0 pressure. You're actually finishing or how you started, but this is how you really pretty much count your section passes. And that's about it. And as you can see how deep and rich this looks. There's literally 0 holograms on the paint. Literally none. Alright, so I had to clean my camera up because there was like some glare. But as you can see, there's literally no holograms whatsoever left behind. Nice, deep, rich. That's the left one left with the compound. This is still somewhat sanding marks right here. And here is the holograms and the buffer trails left behind. Now I'm gonna show you that you can leave holograms if you're not using the right technique, but I'm gonna do this live. And by the way, just to give you guys a heads up, Stephen V came over real quick to pick up some things and he saw it live. So what did you see?
You can see the difference
between
the red pad and the one she did in the bottom. Actually, a big difference. I know in camera you can't really see it too good, but in visual you definitely can see this is like more
like rich, right?
Rich, and you can see the little sparkles or whatever
the metallic
have, but you can see it's actually clarity. Yeah, it's definitely clarity.
Yeah, so you can go from that to that with a rotary if need be. So Stephen V had a great idea of taking this test panel outside under the sun, but now for some reason the sun went in, but you can still see the holograms on the cutting side when we use the wool pad. And I'm just moving this up and down and you see the holograms, and where my wife did this, literally 0 holograms left behind. So you can finish down easily with the rotary, no pressure, practically 0 time, and it's a deeper, richer clarity. So yep, let me just bring this inside. All right, everyone, so my wife just did this section right here, and she did it with the rotary. Pretty much she used the DIY Detail Gold Standard, the yellow pad, and then she finished it off with the red pad, hologram free. This side is still a bit scuffed up with the compound, but it's all right. I'm still gonna show you guys how to do this, but at the same time, I'm gonna talk about the technique that you really want to do in order so you don't get these holograms. But I will leave some holograms on purpose because this is the purpose of the video, right? My wife finished this hologram free, and now I am going to go ahead and show what happens when you use the improper technique. So I already cleaned this pad just to save some time. It's damp. You want to use the Lake Country wash pad, as you saw my wife do it. I'm not going to spend time cleaning it out, but go ahead, use 1 spray. From here, everything can be the same. And this sprayer is clogged up, so I gotta do another one. There we go. So everything is literally the same. So let's go ahead and start polishing. All right, so there's 3 things that you really want to avoid if you want to polish with a rotary and finish hologram free. And these are the 3 things. And I will talk about them as we go. 1 is pressure. You don't want to put any pressure on the pad. And the same thing is if you tilt in an angle, you're focusing all that energy into one part. You know, if you focus like this or like this or like this, you are focusing way too much energy on one side. You can have everything. You can have the best equipment, the best pad, the right, pad, the right polish combo. But if you're doing these techniques, you will get holograms. And the 3rd thing and last thing is high speed. You do not want to do high speed. And on this side, I will prove to you on this section that you will get holograms that way. So we're gonna do the 3 things I just spoke about that will give you hologram trails. And then I'm gonna finish the holograms that I left behind with just the foam pad and the red finishing pad from DIY Detail. So like I said, start it up. High speed. High speed. Pressure. I'm going in an angle. And working too much in the same section and going too slow. So as you see, with all 3 of those combined, you're gonna get crazy amount of hologramming. It doesn't matter how soft your pad is. Obviously, I was using the DIY Detail Gold Standard, which is a lot stiffer, but we're gonna use their finishing rotary jeweling pad. And we definitely left some holograms behind, but in our eyes, it's Looks nice and clear. And we left some holograms. We left a little bit of hologramming behind, but we're gonna refine this finish easily with the gold standard polish and the red finishing pad. So as you saw, those are the three things you really want to avoid. And even if we're using a finishing pad like this, you can still leave holograms if you do any other combination of those three. But this way, I'm gonna show you how you could go ahead and finish with a rotary hologram free. So I've already have a damp pad, same thing as last time. We're gonna keep everything as simple as possible just to save some time. But what you really wanna do is keep the pad flat, no pressure. You could use one hand and you're guiding the machine. When I was using the high speed and keeping it flat, it was starting to fight on me a little bit, and that's something that you don't want because it comes taxing with the arms and the shoulders. So this is really gonna alleviate everything. So we're gonna start it up. Keep the pad flat. There's no pressure. I'm using one hand. This is on 450 RPM. You could do it on 700 if you like, but it's whatever floats your boat. Anywhere between 400 to 800 RPMs is the sweet spot for myself. But if I go on a higher RPM, I will have to use quicker movements. And you don't have to go on a crosshatch pattern either. My wife was doing it just because of the simple fact that, you know, it just so you guys know where you're at, but I know where I'm at as well. I'm on 3 section passes already, and this is gonna be the 4th one. And the panel is cool to the touch. And I'm not fighting it. I could talk to you guys. It's not a high-pitched voice. It's not annoying, and it's very easy. So, although here it'll look like I left holograms, but that's just the trails of the compound and the polish. And look, I did like 5, 6 session passes. It doesn't really matter. The pad is still cool. And we're gonna go ahead and buff this out. And you will see on how clear and nice and deep rich we left this panel. See that? No holograms. These are just some scuff marks from the sanding marks here that's on the corners. But if you look straight in the middle, there's literally 0 holograms. As opposed to this one up here. As you can see, all those buffer trails and stuff left behind by the wool pad, and you can't even leave that with the foam pad. And now, directly in the middle, 0 holograms. All right, everyone, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. So pretty much it's quick, simple, no pressure, low speeds, don't tilt the pad, and you won't get any holograms. Simple as that. But as you guys saw, even with high speeds, and you can use the rotary to cut, but you will leave a lot of defects, heavy defects, hologramming, and even the wool pads trail marks, just because it's a super aggressive pad. And what I enjoy using to finish down hologram free with the rotary is I like to use these waffle pads. It just feels better, it guides better. Use a quality compound and polish. I know I said I was gonna use OP compound, I could have used Oberxol, but the thing is, if you wanna keep it within a family, just use a family of products. And also it was gonna be a lot longer to dab out the pad and stuff. But that's pretty much it really. Use a quality rotary as well. That's another thing. Stephen V, when he was here off screen, we were just practicing more on the test hood, and I was showing him, you know, some techniques. And as well, he noticed that having a quality rotary does make a difference. It's quieter, it's not that high pitched type of sound. And yeah, and then the other thing is your backing plate, right? This backing plate is super hard. This one's nice, flexible, soft. So if you got a hard type of backing plate, when you get to an edge, it starts putting a lot of pressure and it's not really flexing with the contours of the body lines, and then you will leave holograms as well. So that's about it. That's pretty much a summary. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. If you're new to Rotary, you guys see the results. We took the thing out to see if there was any holograms, no holograms, and yep. So hopefully you guys enjoy this type of process. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.